Mitt Romney said some things hinting that he might favor a UBI. So here's the big question. Does Mitt Romney favor a UBI? The short answer is no. The longer answer is not exactly. But let's see what he said this morning, because this is all along the blogosphere. People are talking about this a lot, and it's worth talking about, because the way I see it, we do need an emergency UBI. We definitely need an emergency UBI. Are we going to get it? I wouldn't hold your breath for it. If you're going to hold your breath, do it for 10 seconds and make sure you're okay, because that's one of the ways you can kind of, it's not an exact test for the coronavirus, obviously, but it's something you can do to kind of just check in. Hold your breath for 10 seconds. If you feel pain, you might be in trouble. If you feel fine, then that's a good thing. Take your temperature. If you don't have a temperature, that's great. If you do, well, you better stay home. Anyway, so here's what Mitt Romney's saying. Mitt Romney proposes giving $1,000 to every American adult as coronavirus response measure. So he's not necessarily, well, we're going to read on here. He's not necessarily for UBI. He's for kind of an emergency $1,000 that we may need to continue. So it's like, kind of, not really, sort of, but let's read on. Republican Senator Mitt Romney of Utah on Monday outlined a list of proposals to address the coronavirus outbreak, including giving all American adults $1,000 in response to fallout from the spread of the disease. Romney's office framed the proposals as a way to ensure economic stability for working Americans. Every American adult should immediately receive $1,000 to help ensure families and workers can meet their short-term obligations and increase spending in the economy. Congress took similar action during the 2001 and 2008 recessions, blah, 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 blah. And then I think he said, here, I think he also said that, okay, so here you go. I would start with a $1,000 check for every American sent out as quickly as possible. This is from Greg Mankiw, or Mankiw, however you say it, former top economic advisor to George W. Bush, who advised Mitt Romney. That would work to be about 1.7% of GDP, and then we might have to do it again in a month. So it's not exactly like UBI, like, oh, you're going to get $1,000 a month, but it's like you're going to get $1,000. We might need to repeat it in a month. We'll see. So kind of just this temporary emergency funds, basically. Former President Barack advisor Jason Furman, who's advocating the proposal, estimated it would cost $350 billion. How much did they give the banks, though? How much did they just give the banks? It's $1.5 trillion, right? It's $1.5 trillion, enough to knock out student loan debt. That's what they just gave the banks. People are suffering. People can't go to work. There's a shortage of food. There's a shortage of toilet paper. And they're saying, we're entertaining the idea of maybe giving you $1,000. The banks come along and say, hey, we don't have as much money as we'd like to have. And the government says, how much do you need, boo? How much do you need? Don't worry, plebs. We might give you $1,000. And then in a month, we might even do it again. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. But the banks need something. Oh, we gotcha. We gotcha. No problem. When I was my first job out of college, I worked at a company, and it was obvious the company was going under. Like it was not looking good. And every time, like, the CEO or whatever he was, president of the company, whatever his actual title was, I don't even remember, but whenever he spoke, it was painfully obvious that it was like, you'd listen to him and you're like, this dude should not be running a company. This dude is completely clocked out. And how much longer are we going to be doing this, really? And that's the same way I feel. Do you guys hear that siren? That's pretty loud. I don't know if you could hear it. You might be able to hear it. That's the same way I feel whenever Donald Trump talks about the coronavirus. Like, if you listen to him talk, you hear him and you're just like, how long? Like, this guy, yeah, he has no clue what we need to do. We do not have this handled at all. How much longer are we going to be doing this thing? Like, this thing being the country, which, by the way, I think it's safe to say the United States we're not really a country. We're just a corporation with state lines. That's all we are at this point. I mean, calling us a country is generous. I mean, if anyone watched Trump speak, the only takeaway you should have is like, wow, we're on our own. Look around you in your community and hope that people are helping each other out. Which, by the way, in my community, Pasadena, California, our mayor is on vacation. He's in Africa right now. I think it's Africa, at least, in our sister city. And he's like, don't worry, I'm paying attention. Oh, you guys could hear the siren. All right, I'm seeing in the chat some of you guys could hear the siren. So our guy's on vacation. The mayor where I live, that's what they're doing. What are the mayors doing in your town? This is a pandemic. This is a pandemic. People can't go to work. People are struggling. Oh, and Mitt Romney entertains the idea, which, by the way, Tulsi Gabbard has come out in favor of UBI. Andrew Yang, obviously, in favor of UBI. Now, all of a sudden, Mitt Romney does it. And it's not actual UBI. It's not like, oh, you're going to have basic income for a certain amount of time even. It's like, oh, we're going to give you $1,000 and we may repeat it again next month. Maybe. And again, these are all maybes. It's not guaranteed. You know what's guaranteed? The $1.5 trillion we just gave the banks. That's fine. That's a sunk cost. But this $350 billion total we're entertaining, giving you, the people, a little bit of relief. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe. Because it's a corporation. This is just one big corporation, which Mitt Romney would tell you, well, those are people. Those are people.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your